retail manager wanted me fired, but did not know I worked directly under her boss. This happened about 13 years ago. I was a field service engineer for a national retail chain. Basically, I was the IT guy who drove around in a company vehicle, servicing the computer networks in the stores. The company was organized with corporate employees and retail employees. Being a corporate employee, I received corporate stock as a small part of my salary. My starting pay was 3 times the rate of any store manager. Because I was always putting out fires, I often dealt with store managers who honestly thought they were the store owners. They saw me as just the hired help. This was truly ironic, as I actually owned a very small piece of the corporation. The average store manager did not. One day, I got orders to replace a server in a store not far from my house. I worked out of my house but kept parts in the truck and also in the back room of another nearby store. I showed up at the store for my second stop of 3 scheduled that day. I walked in wearing my very obvious corporate uniform and name tag with the company logo. Store owner retail manager instantly demanded to know what I was doing in her store. I got this all the time, so it was nothing new. I calmly explained that my boss wanted me to upgrade one of the store servers, a hardware replacement. I even showed her where I would be working. I told her it would take about an hour, and the POS registers might go offline for about 5 minutes. She wasn't happy, but reluctantly allowed me into the room where the server was. I started working. Just as I was about done, the POS registers went down while I was switching them to the new server, which wasn't fully hooked up yet. At that moment, I realized I had forgotten to bring a couple of cables I needed to finish hooking the new server into the store network. So I ran out to the truck to get the required cables. I was gone about 2 minutes. When I got back, the store manager was sitting at the table in front of the server. She had food spread out all over the table, and the server was under the table. I told her I needed to finish hooking up the server, gesturing under the table. She told me I'd have to come back in an hour, after her lunch break. I was shocked into total silence. Then a cashier burst into the room, panicked because the registers weren't working and the checkout lines were backing up. I explained to the manager that I had to fix the server now, or the registers would not work. The manager told me I should have thought of that before I started working in her lunch break area. I calmly told the store manager she would have to take a break later, or find somewhere else to eat her lunch. She told me I was rude and incompetent, and demanded to speak to my manager immediately. Okie dokie. I called my manager using my corporate-issued iPhone, and quickly explained the situation. Then I walked into the server room to hand the phone to the store manager. While she was on the phone, I headed to the front of the store to explain and apologize that the registers would be down for a few more minutes. I couldn't hear exactly what the store manager was saying to my manager, but it was a heated conversation. I clearly heard the word fired, mentioned a few times. It was clear the store owner retail manager wanted me fired for daring to interrupt her lunch break. Unfortunately for her, my direct supervisor was about 5 or 6 levels above the retail district manager. So the store manager was complaining loudly about interrupting my work to the manager of her manager's 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 manager. A few minutes later, the store manager walked out awkwardly, balancing bits and pieces of her lunch spread. I immediately went back to work getting the new server up and running. I rebooted the POS registers so the cashiers could get back to work. Everyone was happy now except the store owner, because her lunch break was ruined. The main part of my task was done, but it took another 15 minutes to clean up and reorganize my truck. I was preparing for my next stop, about an hour's drive away. As I was doing this, I saw the retail district manager, whom I had met before, walking into the store. She walked back out with the former store manager, who was carrying a box of her personal items.